Hi everyone. I was starting to get the turkey gear out. It's that time of year, and last year I switched to a new setup that I self-film my turkey hunts, and I wanted to make a video where I talk about the different items that I use to do this, and I want to talk about how I use those items in this video. Really, the main reason that I switched to this setup is I wanted to find a way to be lightweight, that I could quickly get myself set up. I had some items that I kind of repurposed, and really the main part of this system is actually a trail camera holder from HME, and I'm going to put the link to this product actually in the description of the video, so if you need to find this. But what's nice about this system is it's very easy to set up, it's very easy to carry. This is all the gear that I would be taking into the woods, and it's very versatile if you're trying to move around to, you know, on the ground hunting. This wouldn't be working for in the blind. I mean, I guess you could use it in the blind, but it's primarily used to kind of run and gun, and if you hear turkeys, you need to make a move on them. It's easy to kind of gather the material and gather the different cameras that you're going to use and set them up. So stay tuned in this video. We're going to go through all the details on how I set things up. I would appreciate, if you're new to the channel, if you hit subscribe. If this video helps you out, give it a thumbs up as well. I'd really appreciate that. And in the comments, if you have any questions about the gear that we go over today, or if you have any comments that maybe that you think would help me, you know, better this setup, you know, feel free to leave those comments. All right, so the very first item that I want to talk about for this setup is what's called the HME ground trail camera mount. This does adjust the different heights, but normally I just have it on the lowest setting. And the reason that I like using this instead of a tripod is the fact that it's easier to set up when I get to the trees. With a tripod, you know, a lot of times whenever you're actually setting it up, you have to set it down, adjust the different length of the legs so that it doesn't tip over. Sometimes the legs actually get in your way. Sometimes you can align them so that when you are sitting at the tree, you can get them out of your way, but there's always that little bit of adjustment that kind of takes a little extra time. Now, if you're going somewhere and you have the time to set up, you know, that's fine to use the tripod, but what I found is when I want to go to a different tree, if there's a chance that I need to sit down quickly and quietly, I like this monopod, and I like the way this bottom is set up because I can easily just get to my spot and basically step on this and set it into the ground, and this is strong enough that it'll hold up the weight of my camera and the weight of my little fluid head here. And if you notice, the shape of this actually leaves a little bit of an indent where you can kind of put your leg so that you fit more comfortably. So when I go to set this up, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out the tree that I'm going to use. And typically, this is going to be different for everybody depending on your preference, but I'll usually go around like 3 to 4 feet away from the tree, and I try to imagine what direction I think the turkey are going to be coming from. And what I'll do is I'll basically just line this up so that I have it this bend away from me, and then I'll just step on that, and it'll secure it into the ground. Now, there is a little bit of wobble. I know people are going to be calling that out, but it's not enough that it's going to cause a problem. And you can always just put this in somewhere else. You want to hope that you have an area where the ground is pretty soft. But as you can see from here, I am able to just get myself next to the tree. I'm in a very comfortable position, and where I have this located, I'm able to kind of hold my shotgun, and you know, I have the full range of motion just as if I had a tripod here. We're trying to not move that much. So once I get myself set up here, I now basically have to have little movement, so if the turkey are coming in, I'm able to see my camera. I'm able to adjust this with the small micro head that I have on here. And if a turkey is coming in and I have to make those minimal adjustments, I can do so, and it's basically right here. And again, you can move this closer, further ahead, further back. That's your preference, but I like how easy this is to kind of move around. I am able to lift it out and move it. Let's say there's a turkey coming from this direction. A lot of times I would have to shift on the tree, and if I needed to quickly move it, if the ground is too hard, you would have to stand up. Sometimes though, if you take it out, you can just kind of maneuver it, and you can just push it down if you find the right spot. And again, it's not all the way in, but I know that this is safe enough that it's going to stay there when I'm moving it around to hunt. All right, so now let's kind of break down some of the modifications that I did to this camera, or this trail camera mount. First of all, you notice that it does have some Velcro on here. I do use that sometimes to hold the GoPro remote in place if I'm using a second camera, and a lot of times I'll either strap it around like you see here, or sometimes I'll actually put Velcro on the back of this remote and I'll just stick it to here. Down here, this is actually used for an external battery. If I ever need an external battery whenever I'm fishing, that's why you see some down here. This really isn't used too much for turkey hunting. But now I want to point out, first of all, I just tied a camouflage little bandana down there. And what this is for, I take this on and off. A lot of times I just put this to kind of help break up the actual post. But if it's too windy or if this is going to be flapping around, I'll just remove that. And again, as long as you're still, this won't stand out. One thing that I do want you to notice, I did put a separate head on the top of this, and this actually comes with an actual adjustment that you can move it up and down, and you can twist it as well. Now, the reason that I don't want to have my camera directly onto this is because this is pretty stiff when you try to move it. So if I was trying to do that with one hand, a lot of times I think it would cause it to kind of move around in the ground. So that's why basically what I did is I just found a very lightweight camera head. This isn't a fluid head. This is one that you actually just loosen with the knob. You can, again, find these on Amazon, but this is lightweight so that when I do have it in the ground, I can easily rotate this head up and down depending on if I need to move it. And when I do that, it moves a lot more smoothly without actually moving the post when I'm set up. Now, another question you see, or another question I may get is, will a larger fluid head work on this, and would a larger camera work on this? And I think that the answer should be yes. I don't have a bigger camera, but with this Handycam, it is lightweight, but depending on the ground that you're actually sticking the base into, as long as you step on it all the way down, and as long as you're not really, moving it around hard, I think that this is going to hold a larger camera as well without tipping over or without causing a problem. So with my Handycam, I actually have a remote commander, which these, unfortunately, they don't sell these anymore. Sony does have a different one that you can use with some of their higher end cameras, and I know that the Canons have the LANC remotes that work with those cameras as well. So if you wanted to get that, you could use this remote. It makes it a lot easier for one-handed control. But if you did not have that, you would still be able to use, a Handycam on top of this mount. What I typically do, because I have it facing right here and it's kind of right next to my right arm and right next to my face, a lot of times I will not leave the viewfinder where I normally would, because just having it sticking out like this, if it's over here, you can't really see the screen anyway. So typically a little tip that I can give you is I usually will rotate this and just have it facing flat. And by having it here, I can see a lot more clearly, the screen, if I need to make those minor adjustments. So that's just kind of a little tip if you decide to go this route. And again, because it's so close to you, if you had to go and just have the one-handed, zoom in and out, or the start or the stop or the record, it's very simple to do so, even without this extra remote. So I know that not everyone is going to have all the different camera angles and the different cameras that they can use, and that does get pretty expensive when you start getting into using a lot of different cameras. It's taken me years to get to the point where I have a lot of different cameras that I can use. So I wanted to also talk about how this system would work for somebody that might just be starting out and might not have a lot of the different cameras that they can use with this system. But if you wanted to just go out with just a bare minimum, and if you wanted something very, very affordable, this system will work for you as well. And if you notice, now that I have the HME mount, what I did is on Amazon, you can actually find just a simple cell phone mount that will also go onto the top of this. Now, what you would do in this case is basically just put the camera, or the cell phone camera mount right on the top of that. Take your cell phone, and once you put this on there, now with most of the cell phones out there, you have an HD camera that you're able to just use to film your hunt. And this is really all you need. You don't need the second camera angles. If you wanted something just to try to get the footage of you hunting, you would just need, this mount as well as the camera mount that's, I think these are, $5, and then you can just use your cell phone to capture the hunt as well. So this is a very affordable method that you could go without having a lot of different cameras to use. Just use your cell phone. This mount, I didn't talk about this yet. The nice thing about this is it is $19.99 on Amazon right now. So very, very affordable for this piece, $20 here, $5 for this piece, and then if most of us already have the cell phones that they use, very, very good method that you would be able to still capture your hunts and not have to buy all the expensive cameras to use along with this system as well. For my second angle, typically what I'll do is I'll have a GoPro and I'll take this, and this is nice, it's basically just on a little small Gorilla Pod. And what I typically will do with this is basically just set this anywhere from like 5 to 10 feet away from me, depending on which way the sun is. I'll just kind of have this facing me as a second angle. And this, again, is something that I usually clip right here on my vest, so it's easy to carry in and out. And it's really nice to get that second angle. And typically, like I said, I'll just take this and set it somewhere in front of me on the ground, kind of face it up so that it gets a good view of me whenever I'm actually hunting. All right, and then to control this, I use the GoPro remote that I had to purchase separately. Typically, I'll just have this one extra camera with me to get that second angle. Now, another camera angle that I like, and I'm actually using my dad's GoPro for this. I won't do this all the time, but sometimes I'll actually put a GoPro camera right above my head and just use another trail camera mount that screws into the tree that goes up here. Now, if you're hunting somewhere where it doesn't allow any screw in into any of the trees, then you could also just find some type of mount that you can just strap around the tree. But this is a really nice angle that, if by chance you didn't get a chance to get the turkey coming in with your main camera, it's nice to see that above your head, that view from what the hunter is looking at. And because it's the wide angle lens, it can really see the turkey coming from any direction. And again, I'll usually have this GoPro and this GoPro on the same remote. So once I start recording with that remote, once I think the turkeys are coming in, I have everything rolling. And then really all I have to do is concentrate on the main camera to try to get them in the shot. All right, so next up, another camera angle. I know I'm crazy. I have a lot of different cameras that I typically will run. I usually don't take them all out whenever I'm doing this, but another camera angle that I added last year, not just for turkey hunting, but also for archery hunting and crossbow hunting, I actually purchased the Tactacam, and this is a Tactacam 5.0. I usually will attach this right to my shotgun, and because you don't want to move around a lot, if a turkey is in view, they have very, very good eyesight, so they're going to be able to see that little bit of movement. And if there's ever a chance that a turkey comes from a direction that I'm not able to move this main camera towards, I won't even mess with that. I'll usually just end up having this Tactacam going as well, so that I can just get at least the shot from the gun on there. There's going to be a little vibration whenever you shoot, but at least it still does get that angle of you actually shooting the bird. All right, everybody. So I want to thank you for watching this video. Again, I know this setup isn't for everyone, and I'm sure there's a lot of great setups out there. So by no means am I telling anyone that this setup is better than theirs, or that's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to share this with anyone that might be looking for a more lightweight setup, or maybe somebody that wants to get started with just a simple cell phone. This is a nice, very affordable mount. And it's a system that's very lightweight, that can be used pretty much anywhere because it's able to be stuck into the ground very easily. And like I said, I just enjoy using it, and I plan on using it again this season for whenever I am out hunting, by myself. So again, if you like this video, I really appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would appreciate you subscribing. Hopefully here in a month or two, we're going to be out in the woods chasing some longbeards and, hopefully getting some turkeys on the ground. So good luck to all of you this season. Again, if you have any questions, message me in the comments. And thanks again for watching, everyone. And praise the Lord. See ya.